So I guess we'll start talking about it and everything. I don't know. Oh, you did say at our last session that you wanted to say something about the SOOP.
SOOP.
Right. State
What
of
is
our
that?
people. State of our people.
The state of our people.
Right. General state of our people.
Oh,
You remember you had mentioned that you wanted
ooh,
to
man, I'm
kind
gonna
of
have to
talk
think of that
about.
off the top of my head because I got all kind of notes somewhere here. But I'll put it like this: you know, 24% of Black America uses some form of government subsidies. They either getting Social Security, Medicare, SNAP, some kind of assistance with rent and whatever. That's 24%. That's all over the country. That's 24%. But over 60% so-called white America gets some kind of government assistance. They're getting retirement, they're getting this, they work for the government and what have you. They got full retirement and all of that. And the one thing that I've found out is that there are more middle class black people, percentage wise, than there are poor people. Now, a lot of our people, it might be that they're homeless because of circumstances, mental, drug use, alcohol use, and then there's a certain percentage of Americans that is in and out of incarceration. That percentage is about 25 to 30%, which is what is going on right now is that I wouldn't call them the boule people. And just to familiar our audience, what a boule person is a person that is what we call as upper class. They might be doctors, lawyers, engineers, so on and so forth,
Hmm.
CPAs, and they are members of exclusive clubs throughout the nation. And they have high connections with each other to keep those titles and those positions in government and business and what have you. However, the 25 to 30% is a turnover, generation after generation after generation after generation. Now, when the Irish and the European people came over here in the late 1800s, early 1900s, uh, a lot of their so-called bad people came over here in the boat, and they took them to the South, gave them free land and what have you. And by by us in the southern parts, and even in some parts of the north, they ended up befriending black folks to a large degree, not all together. And they end up mingling culturally with black people and vice versa. That's where you get all of these different types of music. You had Irish people, Italian people, Polish people, all of that, and they were just getting over the boat. And then eventually they started segregating, you know. But the point is that some of those people were actually poor just like the people that came out of slavery uh, didn't get an education. There were a lot of black people that got educated. I mean, and what have you, all over the country, and were free already before emancipation. So what has happened is that because some of those people in the South, to a large degree, got into a ratchet state of mind, because at first, it was all about uh, educating black people all over the South. They started opening up colleges and what have you in the South, and what have you. But there are still a certain part. Now, what happened was in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, a lot of those people moved to the northern parts of the country, the Midwestern parts, because they weren't being treated properly, correctly. So, so those attitudes, some of those attitudes came with them, and now we have a certain segment, just like any other segment of people that's going to, their ambition is not to find a career or get a up and coming job, maybe because they didn't get the opportunities, or they didn't force themselves to get the opportunities, or didn't realize that, hey, I got to stay in school and learn me a trade or what have you. They looked at other people, how they got over, and you had the big giveaway, not giveaway, but you had the big welfare state for a large group of people. And for a while, my family was on welfare for 2 years, because my old man lost his job and he had to leave to go find another job in another state, living in Chicago. It was rough back in the 50s and early 60s. So you had all that discrimination and prejudice and what have you that was going on, segregation and all that, going through that. What had happened was is that some people didn't get out of it, and they didn't realize, hey, this right here is an ongoing battle. Nobody's going to give you anything for free. You got to work hard. You got to do all the things you got to do to make it, but you can't break the law. Well, what has happened is a lot of people didn't even break the law. They just did some things that were minor misdemeanors. Maybe they was fighting or whatever the case may be. They ended up in jail. So now you got this large population of black, especially males, that are in and out of prison or in and out of jail. But at the same time, you got anywhere between 65 and 70% of the black race that are either lower middle class or middle class, and a lot of black folks that are, well, I would say in the millions, that are upper middle class because of how they got their money. Could have been in entertainment, could have been in business, could be in all kinds of things that they got their money, and so they're living a pretty fabulous life. So this point, to make a long story short, is that there are people out there right now trying to bring up people out of that muck. But then there are people that just want to get rid of these people because they're a bad light on all of us. And the thing is, what I want to say is, we live in America. This is a free country. People can live whatever kind of life they want to live, as long as they're not, doing violence and doing something against the law. But if people want to be ratchet and they want to live a ratchet life, that's their life. You don't have to live it. So, so now we getting this real. Just back in the day, you know, when they used to always discriminate against people because of the color of their skin, or because of their income, or because of this and that. We're getting right back into that situation against our own people, because there are a lot of people that might be in those unfortunate states of point wants to get out of that. They want to leave that kind of environment, because environment is one of the keys. If you don't have a good environment, supportive environment, what have you, that's one of the keys, as well as education. So so we are in the best state that we've ever been, but at the same time we are at the worst state at the same time, because you have so many successful, better than average black folks in all kinds of positions, titles, have their own business, have their own investments, living off of great retirements, all of those types of things that's going on with black folks. But the image that is shown is that all black folks, that they put us all in one bucket. And that's going to be forever. And nothing you can change about that. So, if a white person does the same thing a black person do, they don't say, you know, all these white folks doing this and doing that, because, we have plenty of white folks here in Florida that's committing crimes, just like black people.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the point is that they put that label on us. And so now they got a new crop. They got the Latinos.
Mm-hmm.
And now they got to go through all that stuff, almost what we had to go through. And they're going to get put in jail. They're going to be doing stuff, ignorant and all that kind of stuff. And then you got a whole new crop of I don't care people. So it's a game. It's a game. Because people that work for the local government, work for the state, other than that, they ain't got no job, bro. If you don't keep people poor, certain people poor, or keep them down, they ain't gonna have no job, because they work for the state. The first thing they ask the police officer, how many arrests did you make? None. Well, you ain't doing your job. And people out there not doing anything but minding their own business, walking the street, and they'll make up something to arrest them. On and on, whatever, whatever. So things are not really as bad as they are, although there are some violent people that's out there that's doing things that's for whatever reason. But the bottom line is, man, this is a big country. 434, 35 million people live in this country. And then these big cities, you got millions, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people in the city. So I think we're doing great. I think America is doing the best they can. It could always be better, but we don't live in a utopia. So there'll always be problems. And I think what it is, you got these American people that's been watching these, and I'm gonna go through my Australia bit.
Well, I want to say one thing here. Uh, while you were talking about the state of our people here, I was made aware and stuff that I saw an interview that a newscasting for it wasn't newscasting, but one of those streaming programs and stuff, who had Westmoreland, who was the current governor of Maryland, And it dawned on, well, not on anyone, but he kind of, through their talk and everything, they got to the point and stuff where they're in this country. I didn't even, and it never even brought it to my light, but we've only had three black governors in the history of this country. Three. And the fourth governor and stuff, he wasn't elected. He finished out the term of Elliot Spitzer in New York, Patterson. And it was just, I couldn't fathom that that we've only had three black governors. And it was amazing and stuff that we can't get a governor and stuff elected through the popular vote in any one state. But you've had black folks who ran for it. You got Stacey Abrams, she ran twice here in Georgia, and you had bro man down in Florida and stuff. He ran, and they never was able to
Bradley,
get.
don't forget Bradley in California.
He ran for governor.
Yeah,
I didn't know Bill Bradley. Not Bill, but
Tom.
Tom Bradley, right? Because I knew of him being the mayor of Los Angeles, but I didn't know that he had tried to run for the governor of California. Hmm.
And he almost won. It was a close battle. And they elected some nobody who you don't even remember his name. I don't even remember his name, but he was a nobody, and he just after he served his little one term, and he was gone. I ain't heard from him.
Hmm. No, I
And
ain't think.
Bradley has served the L.A. I mean, tremendously, and very dignified man. Very, he was a dignified man. Very, very together guy.
Hmm.
But police officer. So,
Yeah, well, he served as mayor for hell, man, what 20 something years?
oh, I don't know how long he served. I don't remember how long he served. I know it was more
Man,
than
he
two or
was
three
he was
terms.
he was the mayor of Los Angeles for a long time. Couldn't nobody beat him. They couldn't take him out of office. He would just it was like automatic. If he wanted to run, he was going to win. He won
Well,
because
the thing is in my opinion, uh, I would say 25 years ago, maybe a little less, when Fox News was owned by Murdoch, Rudolph Murdoch.
he still owns them.
Right, he still owns it, and he owns Wall Street Journal and a
Yep,
number of other
and
publications
the
and
New York
radio
Post
stations.
and New
I'm
York
sorry?
Post. Yeah, New York Post. He owns the New York Post.
Right. So now, to me, his whole philosophy is white supremacy. That's just my opinion. And the reason why I say that is because I used to watch Fox News just like I watch MSNBC, and I watch their channels, and now I can go on YouTube and I can watch what they say and what have you. And you can tell, you know, they have codes in what they say when they talk about black people. Now, what they have is they have black people that speak for white folks. They say the same things what white folks want to say, and then they turn around and say the same thing the black folks just said. And it's sickening because they're not being honest in what they're saying. Now, they might be partially true of certain things that they say, but it's not. Now, they've been doing this for over 20 something years, and they have belittled the black race on purpose. We are the enemy of this country. Now, why do I say? Because they have purposely have come against us in all kinds of ways. They made up stories that schools was teaching CRT, critical race theory. They made that up so that they can take a lot of our history out of the out of the classrooms. They constantly any little incident that happens in our schools is blown up, but yet still in our schools we're not shooting 10 and 15 and 20 people, but we are the bad people. These young kids that's looking around, and I've talked to some of them. They be looking for jobs. They don't even get an interview. You know for sure. You know when we were teenagers, bro, we had jobs, especially during the summers. We had jobs, and it might have been picking tomatoes, picking potatoes, picking beans, and all that. But we had a job, cutting grass. But we had a job. The point is that when you're a teenager and you're not working or making money, you know, that's a bad feeling. That's a bad feeling, and you ain't got no money. And a lot of these teenagers are not getting jobs, and that's part of the reason why you might have little incidents here and there because these teenagers they try to work. I was very fortunate. All four of my kids worked in the retail business, working at the mall or that kind of thing. But that's a big sacrifice. You got to pick them up, drop them off, all that kind of stuff. But the bottom line is they had jobs. During the summer months, they had jobs. When they was in college, they had jobs. Now these people, they have brought in so many, and this is no knock on them, but they have brought in so many foreign people, at least anywhere in the last 30 years, over 100 million people, they taking all those little retail jobs that's paying minimum wage,
Now
flipping burgers.
you're not talking about black jobs, are you?
No, I'm talking about jobs. I'm talking about jobs, period.
No, I
With these
was
teenage, look, man, I ain't never flipped a burger in my life.
that was just a tip for our
I
presidential
know.
nominee, about the black jobs and
Yeah,
everything.
but
But
I'm just saying,
I
usually a typical high schooler,
I
it's a bunch
have
of them, that they work after school. They might work. You used to be in that program. You used to work after school. You have kids that work, during the summer, all that stuff. I had a job working at Mantino. So the point is,
what
I'm
that
16
that
years
was
old. And
the
I'm working at Mantino.
and
17.
that was the federal government and stuff who decided that they needed to do something about putting the youth and everything to work. We don't have those programs and stuff that the federal government and stuff drives or have out there and stuff to put young folks to work. And that could be something that maybe Harris could start back up and everything again and stuff for our youth or whatever. But I, I, I believe, Ted, that and we were when we were coming up, we were very aggressive and stuff and everything about going out and finding work to get work. I don't believe these kids and stuff are really aggressive and stuff to go out and try to find a job. And we didn't have no cars when we had to go to work. We got to work. My daddy, my daddy and mama didn't come and pick me up so I could go to work. We found our own way to get to work. So I think it's a mentality thing and stuff with our youth and everything that if you want something bad enough, you'll get it. If they want a phone bad enough, they're going to get it. If they want a game cartridge bad enough, they're going to find a way to get it. So they need to put those same efforts and stuff in getting those games and getting their phones and logging into all these social media sites and everything that and put that same effort into going out when you finish school, find you a job. Cause man, heck, Ted, our parents didn't do anything, man. We had to do everything. Even getting into college, we had to find our own
That's
FAFSA,
right.
FAFSA applications and stuff and everything for those Pell grants and everything. We had to do all that stuff. We
That's
had
right.
to fill out our own applications to go off to college. We had to find our own school that we had to go to. They did
That's
not
right.
do that.
That's
They did
absolutely
not
right.
do it.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe you're right. Maybe it's a different mentality
It is. It's
in
a different
today's.
mentality because I'm looking at them, and you're right. I do see some that who are struggling out there trying to find or whatever, but I do also see some and everything who are finding these jobs and stuff and everything, and they're working. At least the people that I know around here where I stay at, because most of these folks and stuff, they are they network with their white friends and stuff who have folks out there who have access to jobs that they might want to have. And that's how they get themselves out there into the workforce here. But the people in the urban areas and stuff don't have those resources and everything. But you can find a job. I talked to my wife will tell you that she worked when she was 14 years old. She went out and walked, found her job, caught the bus and everything to go get her job illegally. Went in there and told them, hey, I'm going to go in there and sign up for my Social Security card and everything. And she said she got her job. She went out and worked. But we don't see that with our youth and stuff nowadays. We don't see them being aggressive and doing what is necessary and stuff to, 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 to find employment during the summer when school is out, or even find employment and stuff after school, like we had. You find a way to get a job after school. Heck, I used to work, get after school and everything, and did the janitorial work down at the Pembroke School, sweeping floors and stuff and everything until 9 o'clock at night. And they closed the school up. I head on back to home and get up in the morning and go back to school. But and we Ted, when we went off to school, man, we played sports. We man, our parents, our school was 12 miles away from where we lived at. We had to hustle rides back and forth for basketball practice, all that stuff. That's because we wanted to do something, and our parents could not afford to come over there and pick us up. And we just had to do what we had to do to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I don't see that mentality nowadays. So when you just told me that, I said to myself, man, there's something wrong with these kids here. There's we didn't do that. Yes, we worked, but we found a way to to
But it's something about having a few dollars. Yeah, we didn't make a lot of money,
nope,
but it was something about having a few dollars in your pocket.
absolutely.
It's just something about it.
Yep.
When you got a few dollars in your pocket, and it can be 10, 15, $20, whatever, you
Mm-hmm.
know, but if you got a few dollars in your pocket, you feel pretty good about yourself, especially when you're a little teenager.
Mm-hmm.
These days, nowadays, I don't understand the mentality, or maybe I know there are a lot of kids that I see that are teenagers. Because anytime I'm at a retail store or at a grocery store, I say, "You must be still in high school." "Yes, I am, sir." I say, "Good, good." You
Mm-hmm.
know, because the fact is that you can tell they feel pretty privileged.
Mm-hmm.
If you're working at Publix, and even if you're working 20 hours a week, That's a good job. They're gonna pay you $10, $12 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
That's not bad money while you're in high school.
It's not. It's not, and it keeps you from having to go out and steal, break in folks' houses, or rob your classmates and stuff and
Or
everything
steal from
because
your
they got
parents.
something else. Right, right. They got a pair of shoes and stuff. You got a pair of shoes. They got a nice shirt on, a nice jacket, a school jacket. You got one on. You got a at senior year, you want to buy class ring and everything. You got a class ring. Get your yearbooks and stuff and everything. That money bought those things and stuff for us. I didn't, I had a class ring, but I lost it. Man, I took my class ring, man, put it in my finger, and I lost it.
But no, I'm just saying, and getting back to Australia, the reason why I'm bringing up Australia in conjunction, because like I said, if you ever watch them, they're always putting down to a large degree black people. And now it's Latino people. So, and the reason why I'm saying that their audience is predominantly white. And they're programming that stuff into these people. So when they see you or I walking down the street, they get nervous because they didn't pump fear into them, or some of them get angry, whatever. But the point is that that's the whole point. They the ones always bringing up race. You know, and I'm gonna say this, and I don't mean no harm by it. And it's a fact. I can't even recall of the five corporate 500 companies ever using the race card or even talking about race on my job. Now there are people say, "Oh, you're a pretty nice guy for a black guy," something like that. But what I'm saying is that I don't even consider race. When I see a white person or a so-called white person, they're just a human being to me. I just walk right by them. Hello, how you doing? Blah blah blah. I don't even consider race. But I'm not dumb. I'm not stupid. I know there are people that wouldn't even give me the time of day. But the point is that I'm serious. I have never ever. I didn't walk through some of the biggest corporations doing business with them and what have you. I'll never bring that up. Never bring up my race, or I'm just a worker, just like everybody else. And I presented myself that way. Now, if they want to not do business with me because I'm black, then that's their problem. And I done did business with all kinds of nationalities and ethnic groups. I don't even bring it up. If anybody gonna bring it up, they're gonna bring it up.
Well, I feel that when you go somewhere or you have a position and stuff within a company, your purpose is to earn a living for your family.
Right.
And that's probably the reason and stuff why your prejudice and stuff doesn't come out until there's competition and stuff in the position that you might want to be trying to attain. And I feel proud when I see someone of people of color and stuff who are moving up, who are in charge of corporations. The gentleman and stuff, I can't remember his name, but he was the first CEO of a Fortune 500 company. I think he worked for American Express. I forgot his name, but he was a CEO of American Express, and I felt very, very proud and stuff to see that he had attained that position and stuff.
For
I
years. for
for
years.
yes, for a long time. And when Colin Powell became the first uh, Chief of Staff uh, there in the military, I was very proud of him, even though he came from one of the Caribbean countries and stuff. He was a person of color, and he attained a position that was mostly considered to be white. So every time I see that happen, I'm very proud and stuff that that's happened. But I don't see other folks, the Caucasians, what you want to call them, being proud that to see someone doing this. And it tells me that they're not, they don't think very highly of themselves. And when you don't think very highly of yourself, then you can't think very highly of someone who has been beaten down, who has been treated as inferior for a long, 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 long time, and then they finally rise up and they attain that goal that they want to achieve, and you don't feel proud of them doing that. You're just jealous, and I guess it's ingrained in stuff, and it's just
I
like
guess so, because
just like you were
they're not
saying that
even.
the people in Australia and stuff, the government or whoever it is, they're programming their children and their teenagers and stuff and everything to dislike people of color.
Well, his name is Kenneth Chenault.
Yeah.
But anyway, when they when he appointed the first black Supreme Court justice, he said in his campaign, "I will be the first. I will look for the right person, but she's going to be a black woman." That's
Hmm.
what he said.
Hmm.
Now, think about this. The significance of that is great. However, that woman was qualified,
Hmm. She
extremely
is
qualified.
not. She is not a DEI hire, as they keep
Oh, she is
saying.
a DI hire.
Anybody who has
No,
attained
no, she
something
is a
now,
DI hire.
that's those code words, DEI.
But, well, the point is that DEI doesn't mean that you're not qualified. The DEI
But
means that, hey, we're looking for diversity. That's what we're looking
equity
for,
and
diversity
inclusion. But it
and
has
inclusion.
been put out there, Ted, as a bad word. You know those
That's what
Republicans are
white folks
using
say
that.
is a bad
Right.
word.
They're using that as a bad word. You
But
know,
that's their racism.
right. That's that racist thing that come out
But
instead of
if you
saying that
call them out on it and say, "Oh,
instead of
now you're calling
instead
me
of
a racist,"
saying that that's a nigger woman, they just say she's a DEI hire.
but look at here.
And
Let
they're
me tell you something.
unqualified.
I done
And they're
said this.
saying that
I
they
done
are
said this.
unqualified.
I have said this 100 times. When I used to walk through these corporations selling advertising for a major newspaper in LA, when they take me to go see their advertising person to do ads, I'm walking through their corporation. If I see one black person, I'll be shocked. I'm talking about groves of white folks. But they're gonna tell me, that you know what I'm saying? Diversity. They had no diversity. If they're lucky, you might have had one black person in there, and then that black person is thinking he's special or she's special. You understand? That's just like my man, this professor. I was listening to him today, and I'm trying to think of his name. It'll come to me, but he's a professor at Stanford, and the way he talks is like, oh, well, you can't be hiring no DEI person because they're not qualified. Yes, they are qualified, knucklehead. But he like to think of himself like he's a special black person. You see what I'm saying? You got to be special to work for white folks. Are they
Yes,
special?
yes.
They ain't
And
special.
in their eyesight, they are, and it's a way to dehumanize people or take away from the achievement that they have made. You
I
look
have
at
worked with so many mediocre white folks. Mediocre.
haven't we all?
And I'm not perfect. I make my mistakes too. But I'm telling you, the point is that everyone deserves an opportunity. If they don't do the job, you just fire them. If I don't do the job, fire them. If I can't make it, I'm gonna quit anyway. I can't do this. I gotta go.
and 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 most of the time we have to be overqualified for any job that we
Yeah.
attain to have. They're overqualified, and I'm pretty sure that Kachana Jackson and stuff is way overqualified to be a Supreme Court justice. She's probably smarter than probably three-fourths of that Supreme Court bench.
Kamala
That's
Harris is the most qualified to be president ever in office. That's my opinion. Now she might not have
but
been a
but
senator
she's
that
a
long, but she was a senator long enough, 2 years.
but she's a DEI hire.
Because he said that he was looking for a black person for vice president.
You're right. Man, it's we've overcome a lot here in the years that we have been here on this here in this country. Our foreparents have overcame a lot, and we're going to continue to progress. And I know we're going to continue to progress. And maybe 40 years from now, we can look back and say that we've eliminated all the racism. But I doubt if that's ever going to happen.
No, it's not going to never happen because you got people now, other ethnic groups, they're racist.
Hmm.
And they show favoritism, nepotism, just like everybody else.
Hmm. They're using
You
those same methods and everything to consider themselves to be
superior.
superior over someone else. And when
And
you
the thing
consider
is, it's not
yourself
that they
superior over
smarter.
someone else because of the color of their skin,
Yeah,
then we got a problem.
yeah. That's the whole point.
We got a
And
problem.
the thing is that there are so. I'm gonna tell you. I used to when I worked for this major newspaper. I used to be I was the assistant metropolitan director of recruiters,
Hmm.
and we used to recruit journalists. And the goal was to get 75 Asians, 75 blacks, and 75 Latinos. That was the goal. So we built this database of all kinds of people and put it in my database. And what I did was I recruited all of these people and lined them up to come get an interview.
Hmm.
People would send us stuff. The director would read their stuff. He was a bona fide national journalist, black guy. And he was a bona fide journalist. And I would recruit them, and I'll give them some good people. Oh yeah, this person look good. Let's call him up. Let's interview him. Excuse me. We had Asian people, man, coming from different parts of the country, Latinos, all that, and we reached that goal. As soon as I reached that goal, bro, they gave me another job, and I started selling advertising.
I got a question for you. What brought you to this topic that you wanted to talk about Australia? How did you get there? Were you looking
Well,
at something on the news or?
here's the thing: it, when you got a foreigner who's only been an American since 1985,
Who is that?
Murdoch,
Okay.
dual citizenship. He comes here, he buys a station, builds it up on negativity of America.
Mm-hmm.
That's all he does is dog America and dog the Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
Left, 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 left. That's all they talk about. And then program these people that are already prejudiced against other ethnic groups. So they loving to hearing this because this is the way they think. This is the way they think that most people are, when they talk about. And then you get these people that are Latino come on their show, and that are black that come on their show, who's Asian that come on their show, and they agree with their same thoughts. So therefore, that gives them legitimacy to continue dog grading and dividing. And that's what
Mm-hmm.
they've been doing for the last 20 plus years. And he is one person that is responsible for destroying and dividing this country.
Well, I see him in a slightly different light. I
Tell me,
see him.
talk to me.
I see him as because I remember when he decided to come here into this country and everything and buy into media, buy into 20th Century Fox and all that. He took his billions of dollars that he had made while he was in Australia, and then he was in Europe, in London and stuff for a long time, and he decided he wanted to come into to this market. And I think his main purpose to come
They
into to this
practically ran
market,
his ass out of there.
yeah, but I think the reason why he came into this market and everything was one thing. It was to make money. And he used prejudice to make money.
Yeah.
He drove people and stuff to do this because his main goal, he didn't care if they were whatever color. All he wanted to do was to make money. And he decided that him and what's the old boy that got fired and everything, big old fat boy.
Bill. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I know you're talking
their
about.
goal was to make money off of this stuff. And they did it. They took a theory and stuff and everything and said, okay, we're gonna keep pounding this theory and stuff out there. And the more they did it, the more money that they made. The more people came to watch their shows, and they used the prejudice to make billions of dollars. And his family now is rich. They billionaires because of what the heck he done. So I
Well,
don't believe he cared about changing the dynamics or hating people. I think he did that just to make money. And he used it to become
what
rich.
you're saying is absolutely true, and that's and but the thing is that he used to do rag papers.
Mm-hmm.
Then he went over to serious, supposed to be journalism.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he bought, I used to buy Wall Street and order it and read it on my phone. I stopped doing it, man. They have these opinion papers, opinions. Man, it's crap. The Wall Street Journal used to be a reputable business paper where you can get in-depth news. Now you can get a few pieces here and there, but for the most part, because I remember, man, everything I read about Wall Street, man, it was good stuff years ago. I used to buy it religiously. Keep up with the business world.
Mm-hmm.
And this
Yep.
dude just basically destroyed it. I don't even listen to Wall Street. They come on Wall Street Week and all that. I don't even listen to them because it's
But
garbage.
there are people out there who still consider the Wall Street Journal to be an elite newspaper.
Oh well, I said you got pieces out there, and you got some good journalists that's
Mm-hmm.
out there that's doing some stuff and doing their research and all that. But for the most part, a lot of that stuff is garbage. It's garbage, And the New York Times is getting that same way.
they're
garbage.
they're headed that way,
Yeah, they
yeah.
headed that way.
But they're trying to still have that left flavor and stuff to them, but with white wing uh, smell to
But
it.
you know, I remember when I was just before I left the LA Times to come to Florida, and I can tell the flavor, of how they used to say the newspaper is going, because we had over 1.5 million, almost 2 million subscribers at one time, and then we went down to 1.5. We was like the number two, because New York, was always number one. And then they had in that family of newspapers with the LA Times, they had about another half a dozen that were in across the country. And you can tell that the newspaper business was going under. You can almost tell that it was going under because, for whatever reason, um, I guess politics was changing. When Reagan got in office, when Reagan got in office, I was working for the LA Times. And when Reagan got into office, we had a CEO named Johnson. And every year, he would give everybody at least a 2 to 5% increase every year.
Hmm.
Reagan called him and asked him, don't give raises out. He did it anyway. You know, every year, there were corporate people, CEOs back then in the 80s that cared about their employees. And now you got a bunch of people that CEOs running business, they don't give a crap about the workers.
Mm-mm. As long as they can bring that profit, the only thing
And
they
they go,
look at is that profit margin. Make
yeah,
that money. We don't care how you make it. Make that money.
that's
That's it.
it. That's all they
Make
care
that
about.
money.
And,
And
and the thing
damn,
is,
and damn those folks down the bottom who are supposed to be helping you to make that money. They don't
oh yeah,
care about them anymore.
they don't care. They don't care. And I can go on and go on. Like we had one of the greatest CEOs for Bank of America, and he retired. Every year, he used to give all employees 100 shares every year.
Bank of America stock.
Yeah,
Wow.
every year.
Well, those folks who kept that, who've been there for 20 years and stuff and everything, they ought to have a lot of stock by now.
But what I'm not, well, this is 20 years ago, bro, more than 20 years ago. So all I'm saying is that when the new CEO came, he cut it out.
Hey, because he had to make that money. When when Wall Street tells you what to do in your company and they don't do nothing but own your stock and they telling you what to do with your company, you have sold your soul to whoever, the devil. The devil has your soul when they start telling you how to run your company. And that's what's going on in a lot of our companies and stuff that we have here in the United States now. The Wall Street folks run those companies. That's what happened in the medical field. In during the health industry, you've got Wall Street telling these people you got to make money.
Well,
And
you remember this book, Dark Money?
yep,
I was just reading it today, and let me see if I can find it. But let me tell you something, brother. These people. You remember when Bill Clinton signed that? I'm trying to think of the name of it, but Bill Clinton in the 90s, he said Bill Clinton embraced the bull market and participation in Wall Street circuit on Martha's Vineyard. So what he did was he cut the act. You remember the Glass-Steagall Act?
Mm-hmm.
He got rid of it. It had been in existence in the 1930s. Now, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing because he released it, so more people had the opportunity to invest money and into stock and what have you. But the point is, they went haywire. The Glass-Steagall Act.
Mm-hmm.
And you had all of these people stealing. I don't know if you remember, and the mergers started happening, the takeovers, all of that. So now you only got a few companies, monopolies, that is running this country.
Didn't if I'm not mistaken, didn't one of a representative who was gay happen to uh champion that act and stuff before he left Congress? Oh man, what's this guy's name?
Graham, Graham, Senator Graham.
No, he was this guy's a congressman.
He was a senator. Senator Graham, bro. I'll never forget that face. Cause he was so happy, and like it's almost like they must have paid him big bucks for that. Because
Lindsey Graham, huh?
it wasn't Lindsey Graham. His name wasn't Lindsey Graham, but his last name was Graham. But he was one of the promoters of it. But also another person that was promoted is Robin Rubin. You remember Robin Rubin?
Yep.
He was the Treasury Secretary.
Yep. And he's still around.
Yeah, he's still around, and that's how come eventually you had the breakdown in 2008. You had the breakdown. The only reason why it wasn't a breakdown beforehand is because George W. Bush started what? That bogus war.
Well, that was in 2001.
That's what I said. The only reason why you didn't have the breakdown is because he opened the floodgates of money. He spent $10 trillion on those two wars, bro.
Man, he spent a lot more than that. That war cost this country almost $10 trillion, they said. That's in soldiers and stuff being hurt and everything.
The point is that he sacrificed bettering this country and helping the American people to start some bogus wars and put a lot of money in some people's pocket.
Mm-hmm.
That debt.
And mostly from his friends there in Texas who were in oil.
There you go.
Okay. We got to wrap it up, man. We almost at the end here, man. What you got to say here at this end here?
Well,
last word.
The reason why I bring all this up, I'm going to tell you the reason why I bring it all up. Because right now I'm trying to figure out how is Vice President Kamala Harris, is going to get this deal done if she's president. 3 million homes.
She's going to get it done.
Is she going to use Wall Street to get it done? Or is she going to use Main Street?
Some of that money probably, and that Wall Street money is going to be involved in it. I guarantee you, because she's not going to be able to get it done without somebody getting rich.
Well, it's going to be a bunch of people getting rich, but the point is that are they going to funnel so much money? See, we got a lot of black construction workers. Is it going to go to the Latino construction workers? Is it going to go to the black construction workers? or it's gonna be like what they used to do back in the 90s. You know, if you black, you know, you know how they did it.
Yep, I know how they did it. They put a black figurehead there with white money behind them.
So the point is, cause see, I didn't do the numbers yet, but let's just say 3 million houses, an average of $300,000.
Hmm.
How much is that?
Talking a lot of money, but it's going to take a little bit of federal dollars. It's going to take some private dollars, but she's going to have to convince those folks out there in the building industry and stuff to deal with it, and the unions. She got to deal with them too, because they're going to have to agree to that stuff and everything. Because when you start doing that, really, actually, Ted, if you really look at it, the unions and stuff were, and I'm looking way back here, they started welfare. You remember? The unions were the ones that created welfare in this country.
I thought that was unemployment, Ed.
No, they created welfare. Remember? They created welfare.
I hear you
You
saying it, but you got
remember?
to refresh
You
my
remember
memory.
the unions did not want the government to let them hire people to work in the industry. And people of color or poor folks, they didn't want them to hire them in there. So, but they had to do something with them and everything. So they put them on welfare so they couldn't work. Go back and look. That's what happened back in the early 60s, 1960s. That's what happened. They started their welfare. Because remember, they had the welfare going on, and they created a movie. They had a movie about the welfare, man. You remember? uh, James Earl Jones and
Claudine,
what?
Claudine.
Yeah, Claudine. Yeah, they had that movie down there showing you about welfare. How she had to hide her anytime the welfare lady came by there. She had to hide her iron and ironing board, and she had a TV. She had to hide that because she couldn't have nothing. That was in the 60s, man. But the union stopped that because they were so powerful and stuff then. They told the president, you can't put these people to work and take union jobs. So instead of doing that, they just gave them welfare.
And told them that their man can't live with them.
Yes, sir. Created their welfare road.
And I was one of those families.
Yep, and we are still suffering from those laws and stuff that they passed back then for welfare. Even though Clinton tried to stop it in '92, he didn't. He tried to, but he didn't. He's still going on. Welfare's still out there. But anyway, um, yeah, we at the end here. So that's your final word, yeah, or what?
Well, like I said, once I find some more information on these programs that she's talking about, because I don't see how she's going to do it without
I,
bringing in
I
all
can
these other mechanisms,
I can see
because
how
it's a
she can
lot.
get it done. I
Three
can see
million
how
homes, bro.
I can see how she can get it done. I really can. I can see how she get it done because once she shows these people in Wall Street that they can make money from this deal, it's going to pass. Once she shows them that they can make money, it's going to pass.
I could see a half a dozen or even a dozen companies, because building those 3 million homes is going to take 10 years.
Mm. Mm.
Because you got to have locations, bro.
Remember last time we talked uh, about this, and I interjected the idea of rehabbing inner city
Right, right,
property
right.
that has been done. She can get it done. You got a lot of inner city property, man, that is falling down. That they can go in there and stuff and rehab them and redo those properties and stuff in there and make some money for those cities. A lot. You don't have to have it. I think you can get 3 million homes out of the distressed properties and stuff around here in any one of these major cities. They have whole sections of distressed properties. She can do it. She can do it. If she gets the right people and stuff there to spearhead this thing, she can get it done. Bring these folks together, sit them down at the table and discuss how it's going to get done, and bring Congress and stuff in there with it, some key people of Congress. And she has to have both houses of Congress now. If she don't have both houses of Congress, she can forget it. She has to have the House. She got to have the Senate. Only way she's going to get it done. Because them Republicans is not going to let her do that, even though it might benefit their people. They cannot allow her to be successful like they did with BO. They didn't
Hey,
allow him to be successful.
I'm gonna tell you like what they said. These Republicans ain't your granddaddy's Republicans.
Nope. They will cut off their nose to spite their face, brother. Hey, people, we'll see you guys and stuff for our next show. Thank you for coming and watching.